Celebrating 50 years of independence in 2025, the country has established itself as one of Africa's largest oil producers, with hydrocarbons shaping the economy, driving industrialization, and cementing the nation's global energy reputation. Today, that legacy provides the foundation for a new era of growth, one that will be defined by institutions such as the ANPG and Sonangol. Both the ANPG and Sonangol are transforming Angola into a stronger, diversified and resilient energy market. The ANPG is spearheading reform through its multi-year licensing round, unlocking opportunities across deep water, shallow water and onshore acreage. Flexible investment structures, including marginal fields and blocks available for direct negotiation, are attracting new entrants and capital. Meanwhile, Sonangol is transforming from a traditional NOC into a competitive operator with a renewed focus on efficiency, innovation and frontier development. From deep water discoveries to onshore expansion, Angola is writing its next energy chapter. 50 years on, the message is clear. Angola is open for investment, open for partnerships, and open for growth.
With a multi-year licensing round, policy reforms and targets beyond 2027, Angola is seeing a strong upstream M&A activity alongside gas development and domestic refining. We'll explore what's next for Angola's upstream sector. Under the title Navigating Investment Opportunities and Challenges in Angola's Offshore Oil and Gas Sector is a roundtable kindly sponsored by ANPG, Sonangol and Azul Energy. Please welcome back to moderate this session Senior Vice President at the Africa Energy Chamber, Werner Aikeba. And please help me bring to the stage CEO, Azul Energy, Adriano Mangini. Also joining Werner, please help me welcome Country Manager, Angola Total Energies, Martin de Fontaine. Please welcome Managing Director, Southern Africa Strategic Business Unit for Chevron, Frank Kasulo. Also joining us is Country Manager, Angola ExxonMobil, Katrina Fisher. Please welcome Vice President, Eastern Hemisphere TGS, Chris Drage. Also welcome Managing Director, Central, East and South Africa, SLB, Miguel Baptista. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for CEO of Capship, João Felipe.
Please sit down. Don't want to keep you all standing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone for being here. 50 years of Angola. We heard and celebrated that yesterday at the dinner party. It's quite an amazing journey, which this has been. I'd like to start with you, Katrina. You have been in Angola working, and when I say you, I mean Exxon, of course, over a couple of years. And the question is ultimately, what do you look for? Not just for Angola, but particularly for Angola. I've seen a couple of campaigns that have been, but what do you look for when you want to make decisions about how to drill?
Yeah, thank you, Werner. Absolute pleasure to be here with this group today. My name is Katrina Fisher. I'm the Managing Director for ExxonMobil in Angola. As you note, ExxonMobil has been in Angola for more than 30 years. I'm very proud of our history in Angola, and I personally have been there just about 4 years. So we've had a great opportunity to see the country, in this 50 years grow and change. When I think about what we look at, to make decisions, there's several factors. I mean, first, especially when I think about exploration, we look at how does the risk balance, with the agreements. So making agreements that are commensurate with risk. Secondly, if you think about the investments, ExxonMobil's been there 30 years. My co-panelists will tell you bigger numbers. These are long-term investments and long-term projects. So fiscal security, fiscal sanctity, in those areas and across Africa is important. We want to make those investments, knowing we have security on those returns. Another factor I would say is access to data, access to the information, that we need to make those decisions. And all that together, that with regulatory security and strong processes within the nation are things that help us to make investments. And in Angola, in the last few years, we've really saw a partner that comes to the table with us. I know we had a chance to hear from Alcides most recently. I think you'll hear several of us talk about renegotiating agreements, making things work for everybody, growing the pie in a way that helps us to have further future development and make the most out of our assets and investments.
So you're talking about renegotiating. Yeah, I hope you're having a good deal. I hope Osvaldo is giving you a good deal.
My partners are always supportive, many of them on this stage, yes.
Okay, okay. Well, let me get to you, Martin. You are Angola's biggest producer in that sense, as an IOC in the country, as the largest operator. And you just had the Begonia project launch. What can we expect from that? And what is the impact that it's going to have on your operations within Angola?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for inviting me today. Indeed, we are producing 500,000 barrels per day today in Angola. So it's obviously extremely important for us. We just started Begonia. Begonia is a good example of what we can do in Angola actually. And for me, jumping a little bit in the thematic of Angola, for me, Angola is a country where things can be done and where nothing is impossible. And Begonia is about 80 million barrels. That was 25 kilometers far from one FPSO, pass floor. It was resources on another block, that was not developed, with resources too small, but we managed, thanks to our partners and thanks to the authorities, thanks to ANPG, just to get it produced, to get it done. And for me, Angola is typically a country where if you want, and with the atmosphere between partners and authorities, you just can do it. You can do it. And it has been the case for decades. And as Total Energy, we have contributed, we have participated to the first oil onshore, to the first oil on the conventional offshore, to the first deepwater adventure with Girasol, to the deepest well that has never been explored in the deepwater by 3,600 meters on Block 48, and all that not only technologically but also on the contractual side, it's possible in Angola.
Okay, thank you. What I hear there is it's possible in terms of surmounting quite some of the challenges which possibly you don't face only in Angola. Osvaldo, if I may bring you in, Adem Osvaldo Inácio, thank you so much for joining us. Sonangol. I hear Martin, I hear Katrina, and there's a lot around what they're doing, but you are involved as Sonangol in all of what they are doing in that sense and with a lot of the partners. What's the vision?
Thanks, Werner, for that question. If I may start with what Martin just said, and I loved it. Maybe that's why we are friends.
Partner and friends.
Martin said Angola is a country where nothing is impossible. For us as Sonangol, that's really the spirit with which we go into all of these partnerships. If you think about the role of Sonangol in the country, we have double mandate, right?
Correct.
Has the NOC, we need to run an upstream business that needs to be profitable to generate income which contribute for national development plans, etc. On the other hand, we are part of the environment that make these guys feel comfortable and welcome to do business in the country, right? So as Katrina mentioned, it's really about partnership, and we want to make sure Angola is the right place when they are deciding where to put the next dollar, right? And the second part of the Sonangol's mandate is around building the critical infrastructure that will ensure energy stability and security for the country, increasing refining capacity, in addition to all of the challenges that we have to increase our upstream activities. So we kind of have a double sword. These guys are very lucky to have.
Let me push you back on that one. Is that not doing too much?
No, it's not doing too much. The country relies on us, right? And we are up to the task. So we don't think it's too much, and we have the right partners to do all of this.
Fair enough. Frank, let me come to you. And I know that you just took up the position in Angola. The question for me is, looking at what Chevron is looking to do going forwards, how do you think the environment, which has recently significantly changed in Angola over the last 7 years, plays into your decisions around how you deploy capital into Angola?
Well, thanks, Werner. It's really a pleasure to be here with this panel. Also, this is my first Africa Energy Week, and I'm just thoroughly impressed with the energy and the passion that we have here, and also how well Angola is represented. So for me, it's
in Texas, where you guys are from, they say "Go big or go home," right?
yeah. Well, they certainly went big on the opening, so
Yeah.
that was an opening to remember. But it really excited me, and it's to your question, what inspires us?
Yeah.
And I think about your question about the future of Angola. But it does start with us for having the privilege of being here for 70 years. And really, Martin's theme now, it's been possible for 70 years to thrive in Angola. It's a challenging environment from a macro perspective and a micro perspective, but we're here with very long-standing partnerships that Katrina explained, building on a legacy with Block 014, and then being a pioneer, I would say, in the gas industry with establishing ALNG, the largest single investment in Angola. But if we look forward, there's a tremendous opportunity. I think the AMPG, Sonangol, have been very intentional over the last 5 to 7 years to attract investment. Correct. And you see now an environment where it's competing globally and really seeing an opportunity to think about new opportunities. We personally, Chevron, have acquired 3 new blocks, 49, 50, and 33. So for us, that's a clear commitment to the future of Angola. I believe also in the future of gas in Angola and unlocking it, and think about monetizing it both domestically and internationally as core to the future of Angola. So while we have a responsibility to the existing businesses in terms of liquids production, Block 014, thinking about partnerships that we'll need to form to be able to unlock the full potential of Angolan gas is, to me, very exciting about the future.
You just mentioned 3 new blocks. Is there any kind of timeline around, looking at acquiring data, which you might want to let us know?
We've shot our seismic, so we're processing data as we do. We've got the very best technical experts in our company poring over the data today as we speak, gaining insights. And we're also very privileged that we announced at Oil and Gas Week in Angola that we are partnered with Shell, bringing Shell formally back into Angola. For us, a partnership with Sonangol, Shell, and Chevron, looking at those blocks. I'm confident that we bring together the very best technical talent to look at the data and find a way forward in those blocks.
Awesome. Let me get to you, Adriano. I think congratulations as well, yesterday for the award in that sense. But Azul has, in a very short period of time, be able to develop a state-of-the-art FPSO, which has gone into production, 6 months before time. What is the magic behind your ability to be able to put that into action?
Thank you. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here, and this panel is fantastic to be here again.
I'm not sure if it's the volume of the thing, but I can barely hear you.
So better, so just for a few people. I can continue. I don't know if it is working.
I'm just asking because of the crowd. Can you hear him? Okay, then we're fine. Sorry, then it might just be me.
Okay, I can increase the voice, the level of the voice. So, yes, Azure Energy started just 3 years ago, and we are very proud that in the meantime, we are bringing in production what was the resources that BP and ENI gave to us. That was on Block 1506, Agogo, in particular Agogo and Ndungu reservoir, and NGC that will be soon in production. What is the key for the acceleration of the delivery very early project as Agogo is to implement all the flexibility that we had as Azure Energy, because one of the target of Azure Energy was to reduce the chain of command in order to be more flexible and to faster to take decision. And also beyond the FID, there are many moments that you have to take a decision on the operative side, how you can manage it faster. And then to choose the right partner and the right contractor, because that is the key. If I can say that one lesson learned in particular for Agogo, that it was a lesson learned from previous experience with FPSO, we dedicated a long time for writing the right contract, because having the right contract helps to manage the contractor and to have a common view, and to have just discussing how we can get better instead of who is getting more. That is a distraction in the discussion sometimes.
So do you see that like the new standard? Because the idea is, and Matran was talking about that as well, about getting projects quickly into operation.
Yes, that is a new standard. Let's say that is an improved standard, that is more than a new standard. So to focus on the contractual side, and for in case of Agogo, to have a very detailed engineering before the FID. That is helping to have a faster construction phase. And the contractor that in our case was Insom, we had a fantastic collaboration with Insom, and with the whole partnership of 1506 that we were able to deliver 10 months before the planned first production.
Okay, thank you about that. Miguel, let me come to you. SLB is everywhere in terms of what it is that they do. They say blue blood, right? So a lot of what Adriana has been talking about is based on technology as well as engineering. You guys just set up a hub, a training hub in Luanda. What can you tell us about what was the vision? What are you seeking as SLB to achieve with that training and development hub?
Werner, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Great pleasure to be here. I'll sit next to my customers, the people that are the reason why we exist.
Yeah.
So to respond to your question, Werner. So back in 2023, 2024, really in the back end of all the successful reforms that have happened in the Angolan environment, we started to look at what were the mega trends of the business in Angola going forward. So one of the things that obviously we have a high intensity on rigs, on wells. So we started to look at the statistics of the wells that were drilled in the country. So we look back as from 2000 to about 2024, there are about nearly a little over 2,400 wells that were drilled. So average of about 100 wells per year or so. But then the curious thing is when you zoom in, we noticed that from the period of 2000 to 2016, we're drilling about 120 wells, a little more than 120 wells. From 2017 to 2024, that average came down to about 40 wells or so, a little over more than 40. So you can see that and correlating with the production curve of the country as well. So declining of the wells drilled directly correlated to the declining of the production in countries, which made us to beg the question, okay, how can we as a company contribute in this new changing environment? And we started looking around and discussing with other countries to see, countries that had the same, that were in similar phase of the life of the industry, to try to learn and see if we could bring that learning into Angola. And that's where the idea of the creation of the Performance Center came about. So we engaged very closely with one that was quite analogous was the UK,
Yeah.
the North Sea area. So it was quite similar to the phase that we're entering. So we partnered with our team in the UK and we got the learnings, and that's how the creation of the Performance Center came about, which is in essence really a collaboration area. It is a space where great minds can discuss and address some of the challenges of the industry. It was targeted to look at the entire life cycle of the field, from exploration to decommissioning. But at the point that we were, the area that we thought that was the most relevant for us to start focusing on was the on the production side. How can we somewhat disrupt the recovery utilizing the value of the immense amount of data that we captured throughout the years, and be able to sit down with the customers and help them recover the last drop of barrel that is still stuck in the rock, and help also to extend the life of the asset. So that's how the idea of the Performance Center came.
Interesting. I like the part about recovering every last bit of drop that's in the well. Chris, let me come to you, Vice President with TGS. A lot of what he was talking about with respect to technology and data, we've seen an immense change in the technology that is available to be able to analyze data. How is TGS using some of that technology, including AI and all other forms of systems that are there, to de-risk Angola?
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here with the panelists. This is an amazing event, Afri Energy Week, and we'll be coming here for the future. To answer your question, I think a critical thing, and it's been mentioned a couple of times already on the panel, is speed. How can we move quickly? How can we help and ensure that our clients are able to explore and develop quickly? So a great deal of our technology focus has been focused on that. And that goes all the way from looking at our existing data library. Over the last 15 years, TGS has invested over $600 million in multi-client data in Angola. And that means we've got a hell of a coverage. And that means we're able to re-image that data. Imaging technology moves on much more quickly than acquisition technology does. And as a result, we have to re-engineer, re-image that data on a regular basis. And that's something we're committed to. And of course, we can only do that if we know that the environment for us as well as our clients works well. And it certainly does for TGS. Then with the size of the data sets we have access to, we're looking at building seismic foundation models that allow you to take the learnings from one basin potentially and look at analogous basins, train other data sets based on what you've learned from one basin and move it to another. And that's something that TGS is investing in significantly. And then finally, on the data side, we obviously have data right across the Angolan margins, but also into your neighbors. And so thinking about how we benefit from the geology, which doesn't stop at the borders, and how we benefit from that technology, that data right across the margin is critically important. And then on the technology side, as you move away from that, making sure we're efficient and quick. We use satellite technology now to make sure our data that's acquired on the vessel is beamed straight to our imaging centers. That speeds up the process of our imaging. It also stops us having to move little vessels back and forwards, taking tapes from the vessels to the shore. So there's a safety concern there. All of these things have been tested in West Africa the first time here in Angola. It's critically important for us that we find a place where the system works well for us. So that's
what do we need to do to shorten the timelines for you to be able to acquire seismic and put it and make it available for these folks to use it?
So the critical thing is early interaction and collaboration. Let me give you an example. We worked with Chevron for 2 years prior to acquiring the data, looking at the modeling of the best technology we could use so that as soon as they were awarded those blocks, we were ready to acquire. And that's exactly what happened. But it took 2 years of planning and talking with the technical teams, has already been highlighted. It's important you have that early discussion together so that when you need to move, we are ready to move.
Okay, thank you about that. Luis, let me come to you. You are, I would say, major service player within Angola. It is not possible for all of these folks here to be able to operate without the right kind of partners on the ground in Angola in that sense. You've seen tremendous growth as Capship. And what do you think are the major logistic challenges, and where do you see the solutions in terms of being able to enable these operations to be as effective as possible?
Vera, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Just a quick remark. I was introduced as Jean-Philippe. I'm sitting for Jean-Philippe. Unfortunately, due to family matters, he had to leave today back home. But it's a great privilege to be here with this great panel. Many of them write the check that pays my salary and hardship. So it is a great honor to be with Chevron here and Adrian from Azul and our potential clients as well.
At Energy Week, you're free to say anything, yeah?
Don't worry. No, I think as Capship, we position ourselves as a local partner that would be cost efficient to give support to the supply chain units of these companies. These are great companies with many experiences around the world. And it is a great privilege that we've been entrusted to be part of the team that manages the inventory and the movement of these inventories. This inventory costs a lot of money. It's a big part of the dollar that they spend in the country, but also it's what they rely in order to be able to respond to upscale the productions, and therefore they need accurate information. So everything that we do is system-driven transactions. So the challenge really is creating a culture where we are consistent in utilizing the system so that we can produce the quality data and able to do data analytics with the rest of the team in order to give the correct information to the people that need that information to make the decision accurately. So as Capship, our position is continuously to train and improve our personnel, adapting as well technology that is coming in the market that can integrate it to the existing technology, being able to analyze the data that we produce, seeing the quality so that we can produce the right reports, develop the right KPIs, and so that the decision makers that read those reports are making decisions, the information that really exists in terms of the inventory level, the material that exists, the stock houses, so the decisions are accurate and they don't have any production challenges or maintenance or repairs. So it is a great privilege again, and as Capship our experience with both with Chevron, with Azul, we've actually felt as part of the team. So they haven't just given us the job to do, but they've actually embraced us as one of them. And we've worked together. They've shared the experiences they have, the best practices globally. So we basically share the same methodology and apply that locally in Angola. And so that has been a huge learning curve for us as a local company. And we try now to bring that as well out of the oil industry into other sectors of the economy.
So I can hear there are a lot of learning out of the oil sector into the other sector of the economy. Let me come to you, Katrina. Exxon does a lot in the STEM space. Why the focus in STEM in Angola?
Yeah, thanks, Werner. I mean, I'll say we focus on STEM globally, right?
Yes.
Globally. If I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our ExxonMobil Global Energy Outlook, right? If you think about the world and what we need, the population continues to grow. And even though renewables will grow, we're going to continue to need oil and gas, right? Our problems are not getting any easier to solve. So we need all the talented minds. If you had a chance to see our STEM project finale that we held on Monday, I mean, those youth and those kids, they really, captured projects from their community, thought about how to solve them with the materials that are around them. And it's that kind of creativity and ingenuity and leadership, that we need to inspire in youth. And that science, technology, education, and mathematics, that foundation, supports that development in our communities to solve these problems. In addition to that, with these challenges as they get harder, diversity, right? And so Angola, obviously, as you see me me on the stage, right, is an incredibly inclusive place where, where we support the youth in growing those skills. We support women in having a seat at the table. And I think that will bring forward, solutions that'll continue to bring Africa out of energy poverty. So we don't have to, have 50% of people without reliable energy, and we can have a future where everybody has the means to contribute.
Okay, thank you about that. My turn, Camino. It looks to me like Total is all over, doing a lot of stuff. We just spoke about Begonia Camino. Can you give us an update?
Yes, of course. Camino está en buen camino. As we say, it's in a good way. Its progress is 25%. Sail away is targeted 2027. So the project is going well as per plan. I'd like to come back on the genèse of Camino. How was it decided? And again, it will be the first production in the subsalt, resources in Angola, analog to Brazil. It's a new area which is offshore Cabo Ledo, south of Luanda. So completely, it will be our 7th FPSO for Total Energy. And the resources, as we see them today, are about 350 million barrels, which is quite limited for deep water development. So the first challenge for Camino was to get it below $20 per barrel in terms of OPEX, operating cost, and development cost, in order to make it fly. And we managed to do that with our guys, with technology. It's a brand, new standard FPSO with all the gas reinjected, fully electrical, so no flaring. So it's kind of new generation, a little bit like Agogo is. It's a quite new standards FPSO. But to get that project flying, it was quite of a challenge. And thanks to our partners, thanks to Sonangol and ANPG, we managed to get it flying. And when I say that, in total, we sanctioned projects that are commercial at $50 per barrel long term. So it's quite, it's quite demanding, it's quite aggressive, but we are transparent with that, and we managed to get the right framework to get it sanctioned and to get it progressed.
Thank you for that, Osvaldo. Let me come to you. Camino, and we've seen Agogo. We've seen a whole bunch of other projects here and there in that sense. So it seems like a lot of stuff is going in the right direction in that sense. From a national oil company perspective, where are your priorities beyond these ones in that sense, as you look at transition and other challenges, for example, that are coming? We have, an increase in the demand for critical minerals, for example. So the global energy landscape is changing in terms of the way people generate and also use energy. So when you look at Sonangol, what is the thinking in terms of where you are looking to position yourself in that particular global changing environment?
Sure. First, let me just make 2 points. You heard Camino, Agogo, you heard Catherine, etc. Sometimes people don't really understand the overall role that Sonangol plays in all of this.
Correct.
And I just want this audience to understand that Sonangol is the largest investor in Angola oil and gas, in the Angola oil and gas landscape.
Okay.
Sonangol is the largest investor, and I want to make that clear.
Yeah. Nice.
From an equity standpoint to operatorship, we are the largest investor because we have obviously
Correct.
cash flow obligations in all of the 35 concessions that exist in the country.
Yeah.
And we are happy to partner with our friends here. On the second point I was going to make, and you asked the right questions, how Sonangol is looking to the future. I will just go back to our motto, which is produce the energy that transforms lives. And producing the energy that transforms lives is not only about oil and gas, but it's also about making sure we are doing everything we can to be energy independent. We will be celebrating 50 years of independence in just 10 days. Today is what, the first, right?
Yeah.
Oh, in 40 days.
In 40 days.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I thought it was 10 days. We will be celebrating 50 years independence. Sonangol will be celebrating 50 years of existence in February next year. As you see, the country development is very intertwined with development of the company itself, and the other way around too. And looking to the future, the goal is really to build a robust portfolio, and adding critical minerals to that piece is part of it. As we speak, we actually have our project manager for critical minerals speaking in one of the other rooms.
Yeah.
We were awarded 7 concessions already for three specific minerals. And what we're doing now is doing the initial assessments on what will be the right strategy for us to get into that business, whether through partnership, and what kind of partnership and what kind of partners we're looking for. So that's one piece. On the other piece, and I want to go back to that because this is an Invest in Angola session, there might be investors sitting around the room. There is a critical asset for us that we need to develop, which is the Lolbito refinery. And that plays a big role in the overall, when I say energy independence, in the overall independence around refined products. So to summarize, we're thinking about how to increase upstream activities,
Sorry, if I should cut you-
petrochemicals, and critical minerals.
if I should cut you there, because you just mentioned the Lobito refinery. How much are you looking for?
Anyone with $5 billion?
Okay.
No. We're thinking a lot about how quickly we can get that project going.
Yeah.
Right now, the project is so critical for the country that we, as Sonangol, decided to go to start the project even without a partner, right? An equity
Right.
partner. And we are now thinking how quickly we can get the 200,000 barrels a day processing capacity.
Correct.
We may have to do it in 2 phases, and if we are able to do that, will be half of the value that I just mentioned, 2.5. And there are obviously different mechanisms, and we are open to discuss that.
So folks, you just heard, if you are here and you can write a $2 billion check, so make sure you reach out to Osvaldo.
Yeah. Going back to your question, just make sure I make this point clear. When we think about the future of Sonangol, upstream, petrochemicals, obviously refining, etc., critical minerals, gas, and renewables. So those 4 pillars are really the critical backbone that we're thinking about, how to make it more resilient, more robust, and still be profitable. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, these guys are very lucky because they only need to think about profit. But we have a much broader mandate and role, which sometimes means we are not thinking about the project, the profit now, but we're thinking about the profit in long term, which includes making sure these guys have a business that is profitable in the country.
Well, I know Frank also thinks a lot about the communities in which they operate. So that's for sure. But I understand what you mean. Frank, you touched a little bit about it, in your initial response, but I want to talk specifically about gas and, what your thoughts are. Angola was traditionally an oil province in that sense. But when you look at your current portfolio in that sense, what's the role that you think gas is going to really play as Chevron seeks to continue to operate in Angola?
Maybe first I'd like to lean into Osvaldo's comments. I was thinking about a little bit of a pivot from projects to people.
Yeah.
For us, you think about the oil and gas sector, especially in Angola, and it's about enabling human progress and improving lives. And the partnership with Capship is a great example of we've built a community around this partnership that builds expertise, Angolan expertise that supports our business. And it's vitally important to being successful as a business is to assure that we're partnered fully, building local capabilities. So for us, that's very important. And we look back on 2024 and we spent $1.8 billion. 91% of that was domestic Angolan spend. And that improves lives, that drives progress. And we were looking back kind of pre-2020 and to the point of the role that Sonangol plays, 5.6% of the GDP was attributable to the blocks that we operated and the partnerships that we had. More recent times, because there's expansion in Angola, it's around 2 to 3%. So it's meaningful and impactful what we do each and every day. And we think about the communities in which we operate and how important it is that we continue to invest. We've had long-term investments in HIV, and most recently we opened a maternity ward in Cabinda. And those projects, they improve lives. And they really enable the progress that we want to see. And this is the pivot to gas.
Yeah.
So the future is unlocking the full potential gas. We're very privileged to be a part of the Natural Gas Consortium with Azul and what that project's now bringing on from a perspective of non-associated gas.
Yeah.
But also the associated gas continues to be an opportunity to fully unlock it. So now we see a plant at ALNG that has a supply picture that looks better than it had previously, opening up the ability to export to international markets and compete globally. Very, very important. And then we look at we're privileged to partner on the master gas plan and thinking about that combination of unlocking domestic enablement for gas market.
Yes.
So instead of having a gas obligation, we were looking to create a gas market, which really drives and invests and improves lives and economy, prosperity associated with it. Very, very important. So we're here thinking about that, unlocking the resource and thinking about how to both access and continue to access the international markets, but also thinking about the domestic opportunities. So I think the future is still there, but it comes in terms of working in a partnership, thinking about how we can invest in a way that can unlock this full potential of the gas.
Thank you. Same question to you, actually, Adriano. I mean, you had the discovery, which is pretty much predominantly gas, I presume. What is the plan from a gas perspective when you look at what you're doing as Azul? What are your thoughts around, domestic gas commercialization within Angola?
Thank you. Yes, Azul actually is very proud to be the operator of the first non-associated gas project in Angola that has been unlocked 3 years ago, and it was 7 days after Azul Energy we got the FID of NGC. So, and we are working to have the inauguration of the plant will be in the end of November, and the first gas will be by the end of the year, early next year. But more than that, we are really proud to have drilled the very first gas exploration well in Angola. And together with Equinor, that is our partner. And this because we really believe that the gas has an unlocked potential that needs to be unlocked, because gas is overall important in the energy transition environment, because delivering more gas for the world is helping in the transition. But it is a resource that was with zero value till 2018. So that was really all the gas that has been developed was found by mistake, basically, because there was gas searching for oil, finding gas, and abandoning it. There are some fields that have been there for decades. So what I believe that the potential that starting for searching for gas, and there are very prolific basin in Angola, could really be the next step beyond the oil discoveries. The gas has a further potential that is developing the gas value chain for the country. So I'm really following what Frank was saying. The gas, what we are saying, the gas is for valorization through Angola LNG or liquefaction, and potentially also expanding Angola LNG. but also has the potential, but has to be seen as a commercial,
Commercially.
to be sold at the right price in order to unlock petrochemical, fertilizer, and all the other industries that Angola, we know that needs to be diversified. And to just the diversification from oil, that now is more than 90% of the cash, the hard currency that in Angola is to the oil. Actually, the gas can be really a game changer because it's not just creating value, but can create jobs.
Mhm. Creating jobs. Let me come to you, Miguel. SLB defines itself like a technology company, and I know that in the space of transition, a lot of low carbon solutions are on the market. How do you seek as SLB to integrate the entire low carbon philosophy in the service offerings which you provide in Angola?
Thank you, Werner. So I'll be very humble and say we don't define ourselves. We are the technology company
Okay.
in the in the oil and gas space. Now, jokes aside, no, absolutely, technology, especially the low carbon technology, is really at the cornerstone of what we are doing going forward. Obviously, as a company, we have a very robust decarbonization strategy, which similar to most of the other companies or all of our operators, it really centers about three different pillars. So the first one is decarbonizing our own operations, and then the second one is also new energies. Most of the companies are doing that, but really where we interact with our customers is how do we assist our customers to reduce their own carbon footprint. And that's where we really see that we can impact a lot our customers, and looking at that decarbonization value all across the life cycle of the field. So, and in doing so, I can share some examples that some of the projects that we discuss here we've been doing in Angola. One that is quite keen, and we are very proud of the advancements that we are doing, especially in really harnessing the value of data, is projects that we're doing now to optimize, similar to the TGS, how to optimize the design of seismic surveys by using old 2D seismic and build 3D blocks, so that gives you the perspective to better design the acquisition of the seismic, so therefore reducing cost, improving efficiency, and obviously reducing carbon footprint. And the story goes on. I mean, on the exploration side, Adriano mentioned the Gajajera well that we the first non-associated gas that we drilled. We used the Aura, which is deep transient testing technology, and it allowed us in real time to acquire reservoir data and declare very SEC approved reservoir data. What should I say? Reserves to really to declare the discovery commercial. Other examples that I can share, which are really quite that we are very proud of, is we consider to be part of the heart of the deep water. With Total, we have a lot of the subsea boosting systems that we have. The multi-phase pumps are really somewhat the heart of the production in the subsea, allowing to connect different production facilities. Highly reliable equipment, which mean time between failure more than 11, 12 years, some of the cases. So it really allows this production in very challenging environment to go. And that the story goes, another one, as I said, is from exploration to really to the decommissioning, is also an initiative that we're trying to working with Chevron on the decommissioning side, where we using a technology that we call Epilog, which allows to measure the integrity of the well. And so when we're cutting to abandon the well, we can take a decision on where to cut based on the actual integrity of the well, by then reducing the old guessing or the trial and error. So there's really an array of technologies that we are developing and implementing in Angola, because obviously it's a very exciting market for us that we've been doing over the years. So continue our journey and continue to push the boundaries of technologies.
Impressive. Chris, I just had a fireside chat with Adam Alcides from ANPG, and he was talking about a whole bunch of acreage which is coming on board online, offshore, onshore, Benguela, Kwanzaa, the whole shebang. And my question to you, if I was a betting man, I know you have, all the data, where should I be looking to put my money?
I have to be very careful with this answer, don't I? I work with a lot of the people around the table here in all the basins, of course, in Angola, and so I will answer your question, but I will say this is almost like choosing your favorite child. Not a good idea. What I would say is that obviously the basins in Angola are all at different stages of maturity, and so in the Lower Congo Basin, our technology and how we solve some of the challenges there will relate to the fact that you have infrastructure in place, how you provide a technical solution that enables you to provide good quality seismic despite all that infrastructure. And maybe that's a combination of streamer data and sparse node data. And if you acquire sparse node data and combine it with the data you already have and can improve the imaging deeper, maybe we can look at new plays deeper in the same basin. And I know a lot of the companies around the table here are looking at those other plays in the places where they're already producing. So that's in that part of the world. In the Kwanzaa Basin, we acquired a lot of data back in 2011, 2012, and at the time there was no way to monetize the gas. And AMPG very sensibly, ministry changed the rules so that you can now monetize gas, and that's going to be partly a focus for the next licensing round, and we'll make sure that the best imaging or re-imaging of that data is in place to support that licensing round. And then if you move further south, there's been one relatively recent well in the mid-basin, but it's an enormous basin, and there's lots of opportunity in the basin there, in the areas where have already been drilled, but also into the deeper water. And you can see now from discoveries around West Africa that people are starting to look into the deeper water. And to answer the question, probably looking at the ultra deep. And I can see that from the discussions already ongoing with AMPG. That's probably where I would focus. And what we will need to do is focus on technical solutions that allow us to get the resolution deeper in the sediment.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to let the round go through and give everyone a minute to pretty much talk about what it is you think that we as the audience here need to know about what it is that you're doing. I know, for example, Matern, you're doing a lot around entrepreneurship, young people in that sense. There is also stuff you guys are doing with respect to renewables in Angola. But what is it that you would like us to know with respect to what Total is doing? Fortunately, not much time.
Fortunately, with the time I have, I may just stay on the precedent chapter and just I hope in the assembly there are people from other countries than Angola.
Yeah.
And my message will be to those people: just look at what Angola is doing and
Okay.
look at how many rigs are actually drilling in Angola. We have more than 10 rigs that are actually drilling wells, and this is absolutely outstanding.
Okay.
So this will be my message.
Okay. Frank, what's yours?
I would reinforce the comments that I think the work that's been done, especially over the last 5-7 years, has created an environment here in Angola by which investment is being attracted. The partnerships that we have are strong, and the opportunity ahead of us, I think I'm very excited for. So for me, I'm pleased to be here kind of at the front end of this, 3 months into Angola, to really see what the potential we have here to continue a long legacy of investing in Angola and being successful in Angola. So we've been here for 70 years, but we're also thinking there's a future for the next 70 years, and I'm excited to be a part of that.
So you're telling us Chevron is in Angola for the next 70 years.
We aspire and will work endlessly and tirelessly to position ourselves to be 70 years.
Okay, Katrina.
Thanks, Werner. And similarly, we see a bright future in Angola. When I think about our global portfolio from an ExxonMobil perspective, Angola is one of the places where we have many different types of activity happening. Significant investment in life extension. We just brought a rig back to Block 15. We're exploring, all those things together in the open environment and the aperture with the government and the relationships we have, again, sets us up to be in Angola for many, many more years to come.
Chris?
I'll keep it very brief. I think it's already been said. It's about collaboration and planning together so that you can be as quick as you can when you need to move. And in particular, I would like to highlight something people may not be aware of. We have a geoscience team based in Luanda, and they have a joint team working with the DEX team in AMPG, looking at the prospectivity from the data. That obviously helps me when I'm promoting data, but also it helps understand the prospectivity in the country. So having those joint teams working together in Luanda is really important.
No, Angola for us is as long as we have customers that are willing to stay there indefinitely, certainly we are going to continue. But jokes aside, it's a very important country for us. That's why we made the decision in 2020 to establish the regional office for the Central, East, and Southern Saharan Africa region there. Great business for us, good environment, great people. We are very proud of the talent, the great talent that we hired, trained, and developed in Angola to service the operations in Angola, and more often than not export outside of the world to do the very exciting projects that are happening in Namibia and Mozambique and so on and so forth. So great technical challenges, great ability for us to deploy cutting edge technology and continue to push the boundaries of science. So we're very proud to be where we are today.
Yeah, for Azule it's different because without Angola we have nothing, because Angola is the reason for existing Azule Energy. And what we are planning, of course, is going to stay, and the organic growth to have a very big base in terms of leases, and to have nobody maybe knows that we have a 90% successful exploration ratio. So with this exploration success, we are building a future project to bring additional project to be delivered fast and cheap, and in order to allow the growth of Angola. But let me not forget that we are also in the renewable, and we have also one small but important participation in the refinery of Luanda. Yes. That we are technical assistance, and then we have some studies that could lead to a green refinery. So it's another chapter that we are very proud of. It's a minor part, but it's very important collaboration with Sonangol that is.
Okay, interesting. Luis?
Well, as Azul, all our eggs are in Angola as well as Capship. We're only 16 years old as a company. So we're very pleased to see the commitment of the international major companies in Angola with oil and gas. We're very pleased to hear the likes of Shell and others coming into Angola as well. So we're very positive about Angola. I think we have a long way to go, and we're trusting that our partners will begin to trust our logistics support service and partnering with us. And we hope, to continue to grow in Angola and to give opportunities to Angolas and to develop Angola as a whole, not just as in the oil sector and gas, but beyond the oil and gas sectors, to provide more opportunity for every Angola.
Just one thing before I have the final word with Osvaldo. I know that you guys put a lot in terms of training of the youth and whatever. What are you looking to achieve for that?
Well, we believe that employment in the oil and gas is more than just a paycheck. The critical skills that are utilized in the oil and gas can serve well beyond other sectors, and just to develop and to give opportunities. I think many of our youth are looking for opportunity to experience their first job and just to know firsthand and to see the technologies and the methodologies and the demand that exists in the oil and gas sector. So our short-term employment programs, it creates that opportunities for a lot of kids from universities to come in, get exposure, and just gives them the boldness to go even to create their own employments. It's just in other sectors that boosts them, their capacity to be able to, they can also create wealth within the Angola oil sector.
Okay. Last word, Sonangol.
Luis complained about the fact he was introduced with the wrong name initially, and I wasn't introduced at all. So, so we are in the same boat. But I know mistakes like that happen. You don't need to fire anyone in your organization.
I'm going to pay the price for that.
No worries. I wasn't. I'm saying that just to say we are sitting in a Sonangol room, and someone in your team probably decided they didn't want Sonangol in here. But in a more serious note, we would like everyone in the audience to leave with maybe 2 or 3 critical notes about what we are thinking about the next 50 years of Sonangol. First and foremost, we are and we want to continue to be the right partner. That's a fundamental aspect of our business. Second, Lobito is a very, very, very critical project for Sonangol and for the country. Every time we build an infrastructure and we ask the president to come and inaugurate it, he asks us, when is Lobito coming? So Lobito is a very important project for us, and we want to find the most creative ways to make sure the project comes along. So after the session, we will be open to discuss potential investment opportunities in the Lobito for interested people. And last, not the least, we want to go back to our motto. We want to continue producing the energy that transforms lives in Angola. Unfortunately, we don't have all our eggs in Angola only. We are NRC, but we do have assets internationally. So we are able to act as an international player, although we are NRC. That tells you a lot about how important it is for us to be in the industry. You mentioned in the beginning, if we are not doing too much.
I was asking. No.
We are not.
Okay.
We've been 50 years in the business, and we want to be there in the next 50.
Okay. Thank you so very much to you, to my panel, and thank you very much to this audience and to our sponsor, Sonangol, as well as ANPG for making this happen. Thank you. Thank you very much.